Do you want to get into that? Do we want to talk about like the Vancouver? This is what I've written down as like Canucks and Rangers drama because they've been at the
Canuck
forefront
drum.
of Canuck drum. That's good. That's good. Yeah, because they've been at the forefront of NHL news for like the past month now, and they haven't left the spotlight. So we want to start with the Canucks, who beat the
Yeah.
Leafs 3-0 apparently. So everything is fine now.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
No, it's really not. It's what's the meme where like the whole fucking forest is on fire and they're like, they're fine. Nothing's wrong.
Yeah.
This is fine. This is fine. It's not like the whole city's burning down right now, but it's okay. Like nothing's gone wrong. It genuinely insane how they've let, I feel like, gossip turn into this over the last 6 weeks, roughly, right? Probably 6 weeks. Definitely longer because this has gone back like a year and a half ago, I think, in terms of like them.
I feel like this just has been happening forever in Vancouver. Like we're probably going to talk about the Rangers as well, but like to me, the Canucks and Rangers, their franchises, their ownership is like walking a tightrope. Like if things aren't like perfect, like if the Canucks aren't winning 50 games like they were last year, as soon as anything gets out, everything goes to shit. And like the Canucks have been like that forever. Like
leaky
the Luongo, leaky ships, yes, like the Luongo and Schneider thing like 10 years ago and how that happened. Like John Tortorella being a coach with Canucks, how that went out and like how I think he gave Eddie Lack the start over like in like the Winter Classic game or whatever the fuck it was, Stadium Series. I don't fucking know, stupid fucking outdoor games. But yeah, just so many times like over the past 10 years, you more so hear news out of like not the actual on ice product, that's more off ice product. And like if you're not winning 50 games, if you're not going to the second round and taking the Edmonton Oilers to 7 games, and like the minute it goes bad, it goes bad. And I would put the Rangers in there as
well. Yeah, teams don't know how to handle any type of adversity whatsoever. But hey, Kiefer Sherwood has 13 goals this year for the Canucks, so that's a thing.
Huh.
But
I sure would. I just want to say that.
But honestly, like I genuinely can't think of a time where two of the top players on a team did not agree this much. I know there was definitely a time where Taves and Kane weren't on the same page, but it never got to this point. Ever. And it's crazy because they're not even having that bad of seasons. Like JT Miller's got 29 and 32. Pettersson's got 29 and 36. Like obviously
these are the worst they can do. Yeah.
Like, these are 100-point players we're talking about. And this is regarding things like Jake DeBrusk being on, like, I don't know, man. Like, this is such a situation where, like, the Canucks are getting some, like, I'm sorry, I'm looking at the Canucks right now. They have 6 players with at least 11 goals. That's really good.
Wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't that be nice?
And that's not even including JT Miller and Quinn Hughes, who have 9 and 8 goals. So it's like, Penis Suter's got 11 goals. Get excited.
Suter, let's go. Sherwood and Penis Suter, let's go.
My favorite player, bro. It's a situation where I don't really hold on. This is where I miss Cap Friendly. Do I really have to go to Puckpedia to figure this out? Oh
yeah.
Is it .net? Like this should tell you how much I've looked at it. Like I miss Cap Friendly. I'm not a drunk text.
We're about to find out. Let's pull that up on the screen right now. This would be great radio.
Well, no, it's I want to check the Canucks, like what the trade protection looks like, because like who is the one that's more logical to even trade in terms
what
of
I
trade
know
protection?
Is Pettersson, his no movement clause kicks in this summer. So if the Canucks really wanted to move on from him, it would be this deadline or the draft.
Signed him, like. Oh my God, this is actually just the worst. I'm looking at this now. Like you have these players on such good contracts in terms of what their play styles are. Yeah, JT Miller signed till 2030 at 31. That's probably not what you want, but he signed at $8 million. It could be so much worse.
Dude, there are so many contending teams that could use a JT Miller right now and would love to take on JT Miller. I know that for a fact. And same
Dude,
with Pettersson for that matter.
Pettersson is signed till 2032. You just extended him. He is your franchise piece. And yeah, we're going to trade him. Why not?
No, we don't want him. No.
Like, so I think Jay Fresh said it earlier today. This is becoming 2021 Jack Eichel.
Yes, especially with all the goddamn trade proposal. Like, I would love Pettersson on Chicago, but like at this point, I think like them signing a big name free agent is like more logical, more likely to happen.
Listen, if the Canucks want prospects, like I'm trading everyone except 90.
Dude, I would trade away our first round pick unprotected for Pettersson. Like, again,
I'll go even crazier. I'll do that and Levshinov for him. I don't give a fuck. Or that or Nazar for him. Like you are getting how old's Pettersson? 26?
He's 26, yeah.
Dude, come on. Like you're getting locked up for 8 years.
For his best years. Years
at 11.6, which is going to be a steal at the end. This is a guy who has proven that his worst year is 75 points.
Oh no.
Like let's go look at Elias Pettersson's season totals, because now I'm genuinely curious.
How many have any players on the Blackhawks got to 70 points in their career besides like Taylor Hall? I don't think so.
Bedard was like 2 points off. All right.
Yeah, Bedard will get there.
He will get it this year.
I don't think anyone.
Pettersson's lowest season ever is 21 points, but that was in 26 games, and that was the COVID year, so I'm not counting that.
Sorry, 21 points in 21 games, so he was still point per game.
His lowest season, 66 points. You're telling me you can get a guy with the floor of Jonathan Taves? Please. Thank you.
Wasn't that his other year too?
Yes, and then the year after that, he was a consistent 66 points, and then the COVID year he had 21, then it was 68, then it was 89, then it was 102, then it was 89. Like this player can play. 3-time 30-goal scorer, 5-time 20-goal scorer. The only 2 times he hasn't done it is this year, which he's probably going to do it this year, and then the year he played 20 games. So, pretty good player, I would say. And you could ask any Canucks fan, he's probably a streaky player. He's pretty streaky as well, which is crazy to even think. Like, you know, you look at players like him and like Nylander, and it's just like, yeah, he's pretty streaky, and then they put up 100 points. Imagine if they weren't streaky. But yeah, if this ends in them trading Pettersson I'm sorry, like if it's really coming down to like we have to move one of them, which by the way, colossal failure as a front office, just a colossal failure at that point. And I would just tell them to figure it the F out. Period. You have to. You genuinely have to. You were 1 goal away.
Figure the F out, or you get enough, and you are fired.
Dude, they were a game 7 away from. They were Brock Besser being healthy away from beating the Oilers in Game 7.
I think if they have Brock Besser, they win that series. Yeah,
and they're going to throw it all away because these two have disagreements with each other. They don't like each other. No. Oh my God, you don't like each other? Oh my, piss off! Like it's just every single person on this planet has a coworker they don't like, and guess what? They figure out how to work with them because that's what you do. Because you're paid to do that. It's not some rinky-dink job. You're getting paid millions of dollars, and you want to. I don't like this guy. It's gonna affect me. He doesn't. Bad vibes. Don't want him on the team. You guys are all pathetic. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, like John Lennon and Paul McCartney feuded, and like Mick Jagger and Keith Richards have feuded, and they're still touring like 60 years later. Like you figure it out when you're that talented.
Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes hate each other. They've run 2 of the most profitable WrestleManias of all time.
There you go.
Business. What it is at the end of the day. And at the end of the day, both these guys want to win Stanley Cups, and they have a damn good shot with this team. That can add. Whatever. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
What do we always say about the Canucks? They got a franchise goal, you got a franchise defenseman, you got a franchise center, you got an elite center with JT Miller. They have so many pieces on this team where they could go in a deep playoff run, but they're just getting in their own way. And like, I wonder how much of it is even like JT Miller and Pettersson feeling like if we go through like the past 10, 15 years of champions, like I bet you all the top players at like one point have.
Backstrom Woods are going to request a trade the year before they won a cup. I know this is a real thing that happens, but also this is another perfect example because guess what? He didn't get traded, and the next year they won a cup.
Yeah.
Figure it out. I promise you the Tampa Bay Lightning were probably this close to breaking it up after they got swept.
Yeah, and
Guess
probably
what
like
they did?
firing John Cooper. Like from what I heard, when the Blackhawks were down 3-1 to Detroit, like if they lost that series, they probably can both Bowman and Quenneville and probably shake it up, and they win 2 more cups after that. Like, got to figure it out.
Stick with your guns, man. Like, oh my god. And that was the same time where Taves and Kane were on the same page. You know how many times they talked about breaking up that duo in their prime? Multiple times. Never happened. Never happened.
How many times did you see Evgeny Malkin and Phil Kessel going at each other, and like Rick Tocchet having to Rick Tocchet should know out of anyone how to figure this out. And
that's why I think this problem's bigger than that. Because like if Tocchet can't figure it out, who's going to?
Yeah. But to me, like that's on the management to just be like, no, you guys are gonna like figure it out, and we're gonna win a cup, and like we're gonna make this team better.
There's no excuse. They're champs fucking Rutherford, dude. It's not their GM, it's their president. Oh, yeah, it's only the position above that. And he's dealt with Crosby and Malkin.
The president?
This is a gong show, dude. This is the more you think about it, the worse it gets. I swear. Oh, my gosh. This is terrible. I feel bad for Canucks fans because it's only going to end one of two ways. And I'm sorry, none of them revolve around trading JT Miller. It's unless they force their hand like they did with Trouba, and that's never going to happen.
Probably not. No.
It's going to end in either them trading Pettersson, which is going to be a just franchise crippling move, or they're going to stick to their guns and figure it out. Which one do you want it to be? I hope it's the latter.
Yeah, they got to figure like you don't win an Elias Pettersson trade.
You don't win a Jack Eichel trade. You don't win a trade like that. You just don't, unless you're the Blue Jackets and you're trading Seth Jones.
Yeah, I would say that. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Like, shoot. Like, I love Oliver Moore and Sasha Boyer, but as of right now, you don't win a Brandon Hagel trade unless one of those players does.
Usually, if you get the best player in the trade, you win the trade. It's very sound, logical reasoning. And that's why I think any team that has the assets to go out there and trade for Pettersson should do it. And, like, the Blackhawks at the very least should do their due diligence. Like, I'm so fucking serious. Like, give them that unprotected first and like dangle a Lev Shunov or a Nazar in front of them. I don't know if I trade both, but like one or the other. And then
let's get crazy. Let's get crazy first.
Let's get Nutter Butters. Let's go.
Unprotected first this year, which is top 3 pick. That's a top 4 pick.
Give them the Toronto pick as well. Give them the Toronto pick as well.
All right, we'll give them 2 first. I don't think they're going to trade Lev Shunov because they've just put all their eggs in that basket. No. So let's put Korchinski in there. So it's Korchinski.
Ooh.
It's whoever they want between Nazar and Moore. And then it's one of Lardis or Cancer. And I'm throwing all of them at them.
Yeah.
So let's just say in this book, it's Korchinski, it's Nazar, it's Lardis, and it's 2 firsts. I'm doing it. I don't give a fuck. Mm-hmm. If Kyle Davidson trusts the way he drafts, do it. You can get those guys. You'll still have guys like Benacker and Cancerov. You're telling me like you could solidify your top 2 centers for the next half decade in Pettersson and Bedard. Probably more. Probably the next decade, if we're being honest. And then your wingers can get filled in by guys like Cancerov and Vernacker, and you already have Bertuzzi and Teravainen.
You still have Bovair at this juncture.
Bovair is going to be your 3C. Like,
yeah,
I do it as much as and I fucking love Nazar and Korchinski. I do it.
Oh, if you get Pettersson, like I love them so much, but how many of what's the likelihood of a Frank Nazar getting?
What's the likelihood of any of them being a 100-point player?
Yeah,
none. Even that top 4 pick, unless James Higgins just blows the world off, or Porter Martell.
James Higgins might be like an 80-point, 90-point guy, but is he a 100-point guy? No. And has he done it for many years? No, not at this point. Yeah.
And let's get even more real. It's the NHL. They're not getting what they want in this situation. They have no leverage.
No.
Even if it's Elias Pettersson, you have 0 leverage. It's going to be a Jack Eichel-esque trade, which means it's going to be a roster player and some high prospects.
Mm-hmm. And first-round pick, yeah.
The Hawks should just go full high prospects in first. Like, just do it. You almost did it for Eichel a couple years ago. Like, just do it. Just do it. Speaking of another whataboutism, like, just imagine if they had the balls to just trade Doc in 2 firsts like they wanted to. Holy crap, hindsight's 20/20 on that one.
Yeah, take a shot every time we go like this.
I love playing the whataboutism game. It's my favorite.
Yeah. Oh well, we were texting that the other day with like the late 20 teens Hawks, but that's a different time. We're living in different times. That was a different regime.
It's 2 presidencies ago. We're good.
Like yeah.
Trump's been reelected and Trudeau's been resigned. Like, there's a lot.
I was gonna say this was yeah, this was in a time when Canada was its own country and not the 51st state.
Oh man. Don't you just love our politics? Isn't it so
Hockey Canada, how are we gonna get any better? Oh, we'll just merge with the United States.
Tom Cherry for president. Let's go.
Oh
let's get crazy. But
we're beyond that. we're beyond that point now.
Well, but like in reality, like a Pettersson trade is going to, in reality, a Pettersson trade's more so going to work like the Kachuk trade and the Eichel trade. If it works like the Eichel trade, once again, oh my God, everyone in Vancouver needs to be fired because it should never even get to this point. But if it's going to be a Kachuk trade, you can win that trade. You can win that trade. But also you're trading the best player in the trade. You have to accept that. Plain and simple.
I still think like that Kachuk trade, like Calgary did very well. It's just that Kachuk has like they won a cup and like he was at the forefront of that. Because like you still got a top like if he were to I think he's been getting better. Like that's still a first line guy. Yeah. He's a first line guy. Mackenzie Weegar's a first pairing defenseman, but like when you got to get that level of player, Matthew Tkachuk, like those are the players you got to trade.
Once again, you just don't win a trade like that. Like you can win a JT Miller trade. I think that's possible. Yeah. You can't win a Elias Pettersson trade, and I think that's the reality of where it is with management. And if it gets to that point and you have to do that, shame on you. Shame on you.
They just got to figure it out. I mean, like apparently Brad Marchand and David Pastrnak were fighting out now, but yeah, people figure it out. Like you figure it out. That's so much talent there. Like like from a general manager's perspective, it's like you guys got to figure this out before like we figure it out, and it's not gonna be pretty. Like. And like, but I just don't see them. Winning an Elias Pettersson trade. But what are for you some interesting landing spots? Because I was thinking about this, and there's hear me out. Do you think Vegas can make sense for an Elias Pettersson?
Honestly, no. I think they have no cap space for that. But if they did.
Dude, if they traded like Thomas Hertl and like I don't fucking know. Like
I don't even know how you make the trade work. But if they did, if they traded Pettersson in the division, fireable offense. Once any situation that involves trading Pettersson, you need to be fired. Like, good lord.
Like if you got like I don't know Thomas Hertl and like Shea Theodore or something for an example.
Still not enough. Still not.
Yeah.
Enough. Theodore and Hughes would be gross though.
Could you put Eichel and Pettersson?
Ew. I think there's a couple of spots that come to mind.
For me, this team makes sense for both players. The Capitals going after Pettersson or Miller. Come on, dude.
JT Miller, yes, but I do not need Pettersson on the Caps. Like, God, I don't.
Because, like, from what I'm hearing, Canucks like want like a center, like Canucks or like Capitals could give them like a Connor McMichael, I don't know, and like give them a Ryan Leonard and like a first round pick or something. Like that's the framework I would think.
All right,
if the Capitals want to go all out.
Yeah, I mean, it would make sense for the Caps. It's just like, let's get Pettersson. That would be annoying. That'd be very annoying. All right, I got 3 teams, and I'm going to go 3 different routes with these teams. I want to go with my first one, which is going to be a Jack Eichel trade, or Jack Eichel S trade, which I think is going to be funny because the team that's trading for him is Buffalo. And they're going to trade like Dylan Cousins and one of Paterka or Quinn and their first this year. And shoot, you maybe want to throw in a goalie. I don't know, but maybe you build that trade around Cousins and Owen Power. I don't know how they want to build that trade. I'm just going off of what I've seen in the NHL, which is that top
Bone
players.
Byram.
Yeah, exactly.
That could be
So,
the
like,
piece.
let's say it's Cousins and Byram. Let's say it's Cousins, Byram, and a first, or it's Cousins, Byram, Quinn, and a first. Let's say it's that.
Yeah.
That's a haul for Vancouver. They get a line's worth of players, basically.
That's probably as good as you can do in a Pettersson trade.
And Pettersson's going to get put on a team with Tage Thompson, JJ Peterka, Rasmus Dahlin. Like, it's Ryan McLeod's been great.
They still got like
Alex Tuch, dude. Like, Alex
Tuch.
They
got pieces there. Like, Buffalo's like is just like the worst version of Vancouver. Like, they have the pieces. It's not working out. Maybe that's what they need to do, make a trade with each other.
Yeah. I'll do another one and then you can do two more because I have three. Sorry.
Washington was my main one and Vegas as well.
All right, I got a couple then. So the next one, I think this is just because I've seen their name in the talks, and if anything has told me about this team in the last year and a half, they're going to make the move for that type of player. The Minnesota Wild should be all over this.
I would fucking hate that, but it makes.
I'd hate it, but I'm so like. There's a world like I'm trying to think of the prospects that would go, but Marco Rossi's where this
Marco
gets built
Rossi
around.
would probably yeah.
Marco Rossi, Carson Lambos, maybe a year off, and a first.
Who isn't as good as Roman Kanserov, but I digress.
I mean, I'm going to be honest. Like I know they just drafted him, but like, if it takes Rossi and Bouillon to get him,
I would do that.
I'd do it. You just got Juracek. Like, your right side's just gross, and then you have Pettersson and Kaprizov and Boldy. Like, holy smokes, that's insane.
I hate how good that is. I hate how good
and they have the pieces to do it. And like, if you really want to get crazy, like, you have goalie prospects too. Like,
they could give him a Wallstedt or a Gustafson.
Yeah, get creative with it. I mean, clearly Vancouver doesn't need it, but like, get creative.
Why not get another goalie? Can have good goalies as evidenced by this year, like for them.
And then I think the last team, and I don't even know how they're going to do it, just because I think with the way their pieces work, it's really going to have to come down to if Vancouver likes one of their players. But I think, once again, this might go the Eichel route, but like if Detroit can get an offer on it, like
that would be perfect. Detroit,
they want a center back, have a
yeah.
fancy Andrew Kopp just for you. Like
I wasn't thinking that. I was like thinking like Casper Danielson.
Well, obviously they get a prospect, but like they need a roster player. So like throw them Andrew Kopp to make the money work, and then you give them like I'm not gonna like this,
ASP.
but like ASP and Casper. Like you just trade your last two first from the last couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
I was even gonna say like if you want to get crazy, like give them Kopp and Edvinsson in a first.
Ooh.
Like, and obviously these are players that these teams don't want to trade, but this is a 100-point centerman that we're talking about. This is the player that literally puts Detroit over the top. Mm-hmm. That makes
they're already like
an afterthought. Think about that. Like,
okay. Sorry. Lucas Raymond and Elias Pettersson together for like the next decade.
Right? Ew!
Like, yes.
Literally the next 8 years because they're both extended. So get excited.
Oh, and that's a move Steve Yzerman would make as well.
Oh, I'd hate either of those teams getting him. Actually, I'd love Buffalo getting him for Jacob's sake, but
Detroit I'd be able to stomach, but Minnesota.
Oh, if Minnesota got Pettersson, I'd be on. No, the Blackhawks would need to start making some moves fast. Like holy smokes, it's going to become an arms race in the Central Division.
It's an arms race, man. Yeah.
Oh my God. Why is it my two favorite teams are just in arms races in their divisions right now? The Bears are just in an arms race in the NFC North, and the Hawks, it's just like every team wants to get better besides Nashville. It's crazy.
No, fucking tell me about it. Blue Jays being in the AL Beast right now.
That's crazy. AL Beast is crazy.
Even though, like, I don't think any, like, besides the Yankees going on their pennant run, like, none of them have won any playoff games or series within, like, the last decade. It's crazy. Good in the regular season, but once they make the playoffs, they suck. It's kind of just like the Leafs as a division, really.
Mm-hmm.
Carol, this was the point I wanted to make at the beginning of the Pettersson discussion. Like Carolina, I think, was in on him last year, and I remember like contract talks stalled with Pettersson, and I think they were like talking Nichash plus for Pettersson. I don't know if Carolina does that now, and like if they wanted to make that trade, like who would they give up? Because they have so many defense. Like they could give them Nikishin, like you probably start there, and then like a young four. But I don't know if you give up a like Seth Jarvis maybe, but I don't think
I'm
Carolina
not
would
giving
want
up
to do
Seth
that.
Jarvis.
No.
I'm not giving up Seth Jarvis. I feel like the opportunity to do that was last year when Natchez was available.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, it was really available, and Natchez was white hot, and now he's cooled off. So the iron was hot about 2 months ago on that one. And also,
or in the off season anytime, but
yeah. Pretty much.
That's all I got about the Pettersson and Miller stuff.
Me too.
I was like, at the start of this podcast, I was like, okay, I want to keep it short because for reference, I don't know if I mentioned this earlier. We're recording this after the Blackhawks won their game 3-1, and Connor Bedard kept his 9-point game point streak alive. Everything is fine right now. They lost.
Everything's
the Oilers,
fine.
So yeah, everything's fine.